case of Beatrice receiving a £18,000 necklace, so about $25,000, from someone she didn't even know. And again, all these people are at, for example, Eugenie's wedding was filled with gangsters and dodgy dictators, as well as film stars she'd never met.
A banker picks up the phone, and the person waiting on the other end is calling from Buckingham Palace. The question is simple enough. Nearly £750,000 has landed in a royal account, with no warning and no explanation. And the bank needs to understand what it's looking at. The answer stopped the banker cold. A wedding gift, the palace tells them, for a princess. And that's when things stop making sense. Because the wedding hadn't happened yet. The bride had no idea the money existed. And the man who sent it was about to become the central figure in a £40 million fraud case heard before the UK High Court. This is the story of two payments, two princesses, and a financial web stretching from a Turkish millionaire's stolen fortune into the private bank accounts of the House of York. And when the full picture came out, it was considerably worse than anyone had anticipated.
Well, I have a lot of material on Beatrice and Eugenie, which I didn't put in the hardback, which I think I may now put in the paperback. I was told to leave them alone. Certainly, the research I've done shows that this was very much a family enterprise, and money was, I would argue, fenced through the daughters. They were given gifts, money that they couldn't explain was put into their bank accounts.
Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have spent most of their adult lives working to build identities separate from their fathers. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, stripped of his royal titles and arrested in February 2026, on suspicion of misconduct in public office, has sat at the centre of one crisis after another for years, and his daughters have watched each one land. Neither woman is a working royal. Neither draws money from the sovereign grant. Beatrice built a private sector career as Vice President of Partnerships and Strategy at a tech firm, while Eugenie took a director's role at an international art gallery in London. On paper, these are two women who chose careers over palace life. But the money that moved through their father's world has a way of circling back. The wedding gift that was never really a wedding gift is where this story begins. In November 2019, £750,000 arrived in Andrew's personal Coutts bank account, sent by a Turkish businessman named Selman Turk, a former Goldman Sachs banker who had recently founded a digital startup called Heyman AI. Weeks earlier, Turk had won the People's Choice Award at Andrew's own pitch at Palace Entrepreneurship Competition, collecting over 10,000 votes, while most other competitors received closer to 100. Other entrepreneurs at the event questioned the result openly, with some suspecting the vote count had been inflated using bots. 9 days after that win, the money arrived. When Beatrice's bank called to ask about the transfer, a senior member of the royal household confirmed it was a gift toward the cost of Princess Beatrice's upcoming wedding to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. That explanation came with a significant problem, which was that Beatrice had no idea the money existed, had never heard the name Selman Turk, and a friend speaking on her behalf described her as entirely blindsided by what had happened.
They certainly used a lot of the contacts from their parents, which they're exploiting now. There's Beatrice in the Middle East, basically promoting her own business on the back of being Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice. And so there's the same confusion between her private income and her public role that her mother had, and indeed the father.
The source of that £750,000 only became clear once the case reached court. Nebahat Evyap Isbilen, a 77-year-old Turkish millionaire whose husband had been jailed following a failed coup attempt in 2016, had fled Turkey for the UK and entrusted Selman Turk with £67 million to manage on her behalf. Her claim was that Turk stole it, and that among the payments made using her money was that £750,000 to Andrew transferred, she alleged, in exchange for help obtaining a new Turkish passport. Isbilen took the case to the UK High Court, and her lawyers secured a worldwide freezing order against Turk in the sum of £40 million. And this is where it gets worse, because the payments to Andrew's family didn't stop at £750,000. A further £350,000 connected to Turk reached Andrew through a separate account. Sarah Ferguson collected £225,000, explained as fees for brand ambassador work with a US company. Princess Eugenie received £25,000 across two payments, both arriving in October 2019, and one of those transactions, for just over £15,000, carried a specific reference in the records, birthday present.
They did ask Beatrice and Eugenie to open up their finances and just have someone to look at them, and they both rejected it, correct?
They did. I mean, the thing is, while they're princesses, they're earning large sums of money in the Middle East.
Eugenie responded publicly. Her explanation was that a family friend had called in October 2019 wanting to contribute toward a surprise party for her mother's 60th birthday, specifically to help cover catering costs. She had suggested the money go directly to the caterers, then provided her account details when asked. She stated clearly that she had never met Isbelen, had never dealt with Turk, and received the lawyer's letter with genuine surprise. No court returned a finding of wrongdoing against either princess. Court documents noted that Beatrice and Eugenie were not believed to have had any knowledge of their parents' dealings with Turk. None of that stopped the reputational damage from arriving. What nobody expected was a second layer to this story, one reaching further back and carrying questions that remain unanswered today. In March 2026, the Mail on Sunday published the contents of leaked emails from June 2011, a period when Andrew held the position of Britain's Special Representative for International Trade, a role that placed him alongside world leaders, finance ministers, and billionaire investors across the globe. The emails were exchanged between Andrew and Jonathan Rowland, son of financier David Rowland, a man whose personal fortune stood at an estimated £730 million and who later occupied a front row seat at Princess Eugenie's wedding in 2018. In those messages, Andrew appeared to lay out a financial arrangement in plain terms, writing that the plan called for £50,000 to go to each of his daughters, with half of each sum directed into Jellybook, an investment vehicle Jonathan Rowland was running focused on social media ventures. Andrew's own expected share of the wider arrangement came to £300,000. Jonathan Rowland's reply confirmed his understanding of the breakdown, noting that £50,000 would go to each of the girls once their accounts were in place. Whether those payments were ever actually made remains unclear. Neither Andrew nor his daughters have addressed the emails directly, but the result was immediate. Labour MPs called for a formal investigation, and royal biographer Andrew Loney put it plainly when he told reporters it was time for the princesses and their father to come clean. Loney has been consistent in arguing that the portrait of two daughters caught helplessly in their father's wreckage doesn't hold up under scrutiny. When Beatrice travels to Davos or Abu Dhabi, she travels as HRH, Princess Beatrice, rather than as a private citizen, and that title opens rooms that a private citizen cannot enter. Loney also reported that Prince William had at some point requested Beatrice and Eugenie carry out a formal review of their business activities, to satisfy him that no embarrassing connections existed. According to Loney, that review never took place, and he noted that it doesn't look good. Kensington Palace has not confirmed the account. The consequences have already started arriving. On March 7th, 2026, Anti-Slavery International confirmed that Princess Eugenie had stepped down as patron after 7 years of association, and the organisation's statement thanked her for her support, while making clear the relationship had ended. Eugenie had held the patron role since October 2019, having co-founded her own anti-slavery collective 2 years before that, and her profile was removed from the charity's website shortly after the announcement. A source close to the situation told The Telegraph that both sisters are still reeling, adding that it may be impossible for the royal family to move forward with any members of the York family attached to it. Two women who built private careers away from the palace are now carrying questions they have not answered publicly. A £750,000 transfer described as a wedding gift for a bride who knew nothing about it. A £25,000 payment labelled a birthday present for a party the princess says she organised herself. And emails from 2011 laying out plans for £50,000 each to land in their accounts, written while their father used his royal title to move through the world's most exclusive financial circles. No court has found either woman guilty of anything, but the pattern keeps appearing. The calls for transparency are coming from inside the palace now, and the one question nobody in the House of York seems willing to answer out loud is the simplest one of all. What did they know, and when did they know it?